When you play volley technique, you'll be usually standing close to the net, within 10 feet of the net when you hit your volley. When you do ground stroke technique, you're hitting from behind the baseline. From baseline to baseline on a tennis court, it's 78 feet. All right. When you're hitting ground stroke technique, I do not suggest you start right out whacking the ball so it comes back to you on one bounce. Try to get into a rhythm where you go above the net and it takes 2 bounces to come back to you, so that you give yourself enough time to hit your shot. So we're going to go to a ground stroke grip. This is the forehand grip. Notice the base of my thumb knuckle is right on top of my racket here. All right, base of the thumb knuckle. Also notice my trigger finger is underneath my racket, so I can pull the head of the racket up. Also notice that my little finger is on the bottom of the racket, and that's really the one, that's the finger that you've got to make sure you got on there so you don't ever have your racket come flying out of your hand. If your little finger's on there, at least you'll hang on. Okay, so now we've got our grip. You want to, when you release the ball to toss it, you released the ball from in front of your body. You didn't release it from back here, you released it from out here. So when you hit your forehand ground stroke, you want to make your contact out there. So your racket goes forward and you hit it in front like so. Now if you keep your motion the same as an underhanded throw, and then try to catch it with your racket when it comes back, until you sort of feel like you've got it going a little bit. Plus, this is good exercise to get down to where the ball is if you let it bounce twice. If it comes back higher, you don't have to bend as much. Right, now once you've established that and you feel confident that maybe you did this 10 in a row, okay, then you're ready to start rallying with it. Now, when you're doing this rally, the thing that matters whether the ball goes above the wall or stays on the wall is the angle of your racket when you make contact. Now, if you take a swing and the angle of your racket is open, you're going to have balls going over the wall, and you'll just have to go get them. But if you can figure out how to use your left hand to prepare your racket like I'm doing here, that will close the strings so that before you take your swing, you know that at least you're not pointing them over the wall, and the ball will go straight. The big thing with 2 bounces is it gives you time to follow through. One of the biggest misconceptions in tennis is that everybody thinks that this is where you want to hit all your balls. That's not true. You really want most of your shots, if you're playing baseline, to be more than 3 feet above the net. I'm a little over 6 feet tall, so if you're hitting ground strokes, most of those shots should be up here so that the ball would clear the net and land deep in the court. If you've played a sport before, you threw a softball, you played baseball, you played volleyball, you played basketball. Hey, listen, tennis is just another sport. But because the scoring's funny, and because not very many people play tennis, you might think something about it that's not true. But I'm telling you from my own personal experience that there is a simple joy in hitting the tennis ball and making the ball go where you want it to go.